behind in our background. It's cinematic, and that cinematic is the kind of movie that we're all playing. But it's not a movie. It's not a reality show. It's reality, and it would seem that Joe Biden's reality has a massive impact, not just on himself, his wife Jill, his family, not only the 330 million Americans, but around the world. And as we're sitting here on July the 12th, only 4 months away from an American election, a lot of questions we got to ask ourselves about the future of Joe Biden, America, and frankly, what to do. Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the Rant Network. I am David Solomon. He is Stuart Brisgell. I'm on the Canadian side of the border while he's on the American side of the border. And this podcast has always been about really picking on these, politics, news, pop culture, and so much more. And today, this unfiltered and uncensored conversation, and yes, unedited. Generally, we go all over the board, but lately we have been focusing on the future of the President of the United States. Because on this podcast, this is our opinion, your opinion, where we share our thoughts, experiences, ideas, and we really hear from a variety of perspectives. But more importantly, what we believe is to be honest, open, and frank opinions. So sit back, folks, because this one, I have a gut feeling is going to make be a head scratcher. So where am I going with this, folks? And, you know, if you've ever worked for the public relations company or a crisis management company, one of the things that they're really good at, folks, is handling a shit show, a storm, a massive tidal wave of problems. And the White House right now is dealing with something that is just unbelievable. That Joe Biden, is he the president of the United States? Is he going to be able to lead the United States until November? And finally, should he run as the president of the United States for 4 more years? Folks, he had a press conference yesterday in which he called Vladimir Zelensky Vladimir Putin. He used the word, he trailed off several times. They've tried. They have tried. And the conspiracy people are sitting here going, how much more? What are we going to do? We got to get rid of this guy. We got to get rid of this guy. Stuart, problem with getting rid of this guy has major problems from a democratic process, a legal process, an electoral process, and also a personal process. Stuart, I can go on and on my own, but as an American, what are you going to do on the second Tuesday in November? What would you like to see on the ballot on the second Tuesday in November?
Well, that kind of twists what we're going to talk about what should be on the ballot, who should be on the ballot.
Well, that's my question, really.
And let me before I answer that in a true political response, let's start out with: is the White House criminally negligent by not upholding the Constitution of the United States, whereby they must be doing things, as well as every member of the government, in the best interest of the country? And when there is a Republican government, the duly elected figure who doesn't know who is the president or head of the Ukraine, who thinks the vice president of the United States, of his government, is Vice President Trump, is just mind-boggling. That for how many years has media outlets, linebackers, defensemen like JP, Jean Pierre, and many others been doing? If this was the Nixon era, resignation would ensue. Pelosi, Schumer, who said the man is on top of his game, have lied to the American people over and over and over again. It wasn't Austin, the chief military man in the United States, was missing in action when he had surgery, but the president of the United States, the man leading the free world, the man who's allegedly in control of the nuclear football, whose chief chief runner is a convicted felon. And his wife talks to him like a kindergarten kid. So when you ask me who should be on the ballot, well, the process is actually quite clear. Biden's name needs to appear. In fact, there are issues of whether or not they can change the ballot in certain states after the primary was concluded. Now, you've got, I think, up to 18 Democrats that have publicly said that the man should not run. And if you believe for a second this isn't the most telegraphed, choreographed incidents in political history, you're wrong. The Democratic Party, a well-oiled machine, is stripping down Biden leg by leg, arm by arm, with 1,000 lashes because he refuses to capitulate to Hussein Barack Obama. Yep. Obama, who reluctantly, only after that he was elected the candidate to run against Donald Trump, mildly endorsed Biden's and Obama's aren't chummy Democrats. In fact, they don't like each other at all. And they're currently very much at war. Hunter and Jill feel personally that the Obamas and clan slighted and wanted to cut him out and pushed him away for a woman by the name of Hillary already. So there is no love there. And I guess, maybe they're trying to get the position that whoever would be the Democrat to take over, maybe they're negotiating to give Hunter a full pardon. Because Biden said he won't. But maybe this is the orchestra game that President Biden is trying to set up for his son. Maybe he's trying to buy his son and his brother and himself freedom. Because, likely story that we're going to discover and understand what exactly has happened. We already know that this administration is a perpetual liar. We know that they've lied to the American people and said, oh, nothing to look over here. No, Russian collusion. It's all them, not us. Wait a minute. The Ukraine issue, it's all Trump, not us. Hey, you know what? We did right in Afghanistan. No, you didn't. Time and time again, every story they give you, it's no, it's not us, it's them. But now the facts and the fact checkers get caught in the lies. Fact checkers were created to try and prove points right, that are wrong, or wrong that's are right. In the interest of the party they're fact checking. They like to splice and dice and take clips of people's comments and say that's all there is. No need to look any further. But you in Canada or anywhere else in Europe or around the world should be very scared. Not of Donald J. Trump, but of what the Democratic Party is about to do. It's a coup. Plain and simple. It was Manchurian candidate Biden, run by the Obamas, and now they're doing the exit. They're taking him from grace. Maybe he's just going to end up being killed. Maybe he's going to suddenly die of a heart attack. But I don't think any of their names should appear on the ballot. I don't think there's a competent Democrat that's running, David. What do you got to say? No, I don't hear you, David.
Yeah, no, but I had the mute button there. Listen, I heard what you said, and I got to tell you, the big problem is the Democratic Party has caught themselves now in a lie. They tell everybody they're the party of democracy, and now they're trying to run amok of democracy. You have not had to put a process in place for your candidate. I mean, let's think about it, Stuart. In the last year, was supposed to be the year of primaries, right? You're going to go from state to state to choose your candidate. But the Democrats decided, as they have done with Hillary and with Joe Biden, is they want to decide who the candidate is going to be, not the people. Who? And that's why Kennedy ran off and set up his own party. And that's why I can't remember her name. She tried to run, but he wouldn't even meet in a debate. He wouldn't meet. And of course, what do Democrats do? Look at the Republicans. And this is the famous political deflection, right? Don't look at me, look at the other person, but they're bad. No, no. Listen, if you and I are both racing down the street, 100 miles an hour in a school zone, and I get caught, right? I can't point at the other guy and saying, don't arrest me, arrest them. They drove 100 miles an hour. We should both be arrested. But the Democrats decided what works for them is working for them. Nobody else is allowed to play by those rules. And this is what is happening right now. Now you're caught. 14 million people apparently went out to vote, to vote in a sham process. And now the Democratic Party is sitting here going, how do we fix this? How do we change this? How do we make this better for us? Because we're going to lose. And you're hearing whispers of Barack Obama in the background again, pulling strings to try to get it. You see George Clooney's piece in the editorial in the Wall Street Journal, I believe it was the Journal, and on and on and on and on. And you go on, and you're hearing Democratic senators and your Congress people. Your Nancy Pelosi, who said, listen, I'm supporting Joe Biden, but Joe Biden's got to hurry up. And you're seeing a mess. There is Hakeem Jeffries is under tremendous pressure to rally his party so that they can all be in unison. They can all talk together and say, hey, we support. The problem is this decision, this move by the Democrats, this anti-democratic process that they have upheld, Stuart, this year has come back to bite them finally. The media can no longer cover for them, although they're doing a remarkable attempt, not a job, an attempt to keep deflecting the blame, to keep deflecting from Joe. But Stuart, you said it when you were standing in a press conference, and he hadn't had a press conference, by the way. I mean, let's get real here. The president of the United States is supposed to have interviews. He's supposed to be exposed to the media. In the 4 years Donald Trump was president, this is hilarious. People were accusing him of showmanship, too many interviews. Meanwhile, basement Delaware Joe Biden is where? Hiding. By 8 o'clock goes to bed. He's not capable. We've talked about this in previous times. He's not capable. He's not physically capable. So, Stuart, the question is, whose name should be on the ballot? And that's why I asked the question in the second week in November, is not because I want to know who you're voting for. It's what are the Democrats going to do? Because for Joe Biden to be on the ballot is scary. And I'll put it to you this way. This is not about let's get real, folks. People are saying, oh, because you guys are conservatives, you want to see Biden off the ballot. I don't. The
No,
opposite. The
I don't know.
opposite. If I want Donald Trump to win the next election, I want Joe Biden on the ballot. That's the reality. What we're saying here, and this is the funny thing is, why should he do that? Why? It's scary and dangerous, Stuart. And that's frightening.
It's beyond frightening. And I got to tell you, it's elder abuse. It's the definition of elder abuse, and the bottom line, I want Biden he is the duly elected primary candidate.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what? The Democrats thought they had another COVID coming around the corner and thought they can bury him in the basement. And you know what? He got caught. What I would like to see is I'd like to see the resignation. I'd like to see the condemnation by the American people of all the people that literally lied to the American and the world. The world leaders are scared. You know why the world leaders are scared? And, a Reagan-esque comment, good man from California, actually from Texas, but later from California, came to say, I lead the world with strength. Clearly, Biden never got the memo. David, wrap it up. because I'm gone. For 2 weeks, you're running solo Mia, buddy.
Now, thanks for leaving me alone, buddy. Look, here's the final word, folks, and this is the scariest of them all. You've got, the Stuart said, lead by strength. In a time where right now the world is in absolute frightening
Can't.
peril, where the world is in chaos, as you said, where the world needs leadership and strength. Vladimir Putin, Xi in China, Iran, North Korea, all the terrorists, they're rubbing their hands, going, "Stay." They're the ones cheering loudest. 4 more years. That's it for today, folks. That's it for the Rant Network for this week. We hope you enjoyed this conversation and gained something out of it. A little bit of a head scratcher, as I said. We appreciate your support and check us out on, excuse me, all the podcast channels on the rantnetwork.com, YouTube, you name it, we're there. Monday, Wednesday, Friday, noon Eastern is when we broadcast the next episode. You can catch us and share us, like us, comment. We do appreciate it. And until next time, let us all say goodbye to Stuart. Let us all say have a good time for 2 weeks. And folks, have yourself